Anybody have any other business?
Yeah, I thought with it.
Take yours.
Sure, that's all. We got a hole ground out here. It turned into that. Everything else. I know I was on the commission administration before yours, and we had plans for the park and a walkway around it. Most people like to walk, older people do, and younger people, and sometimes mothers and children like to, and so we're going to put one all the way around it and everything. But when it finally came down to something being done there, he built it in the swamp. The thing held water out there all the time. But you went ahead and built it under the water line anyhow. I know there's a number of people here that in New Hope that came to you about that, but you ignored them and went ahead. I know one, he was a little fella then, or a younger fella, because he was mine Nancy's leg. He was a dream bearer. He talked to you about it. But anyhow, everything's gone downhill since then. And I know what's your plans? Are you going to do something about that, or are you going to sit there like it's done for over a decade now or something? Did you not have any aspects of the city having a park out there? Did you not want them to have one?
I'll wait to get through.
That was a yes or no question.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. I couldn't see why you didn't go forward, or you went forward in the way that you did. I know it was, 10, 12, some years ago, 14 maybe. We stood on cross road over here, stood over our side of a pickup truck, a white one. And I told you then, I can get the water out of it, I can keep the water out of it. And that's when we could save the building. You never said another word to me about that. I said, I will get the data needed. I will use my resources to get it. I will do the engineering on it. It'll cost the city nothing. I'll not charge the city a dime. Only thing expense would be moving dirt if we couldn't find somebody to do it without charging for it. Still, there was nothing ever said to me about that down through the years. Nothing was ever said. Of course, you went out there and piled some dirt in there. Tried to build a berm. I know I mentioned I would do that.
Yes, sir. You did.
You built it in the wrong place. Didn't build it in the right elevation. You didn't tie it in anywhere to keep the water out. You just brought it in and let it pile up more, get the higher elevation. And then here about 3 or 4 years ago, you piled another pile of dirt at the end of it out there so the water couldn't get out. Made a bigger swamp than it was. So all this stuff has just been, going from bad to worse. And you've never made an effort to do anything to correct it. And you even, like I said, I made the offer. I could do it. You wouldn't accept it. You wouldn't even make any comments about it or whatever else. So it looks to me like you really didn't want the city to have a park out there. Because you never made any efforts to do it. And I just wonder now, after this last mess that come up out there, and now that it's contaminated and not being full of water, you've got any wild ideas now that you're going to do something?
You know?
Well, for right now, yeah.
Yes, we do have some ideas. We've talked about it. And right here on this higher part of behind the fire hall here, just moving it up here, tear that down. What we can salvage out of that, get it TDEX, get that filled in with TDEX permit, fill that in, bring it up, because it does have problems. It's always had a drain problem. Probably was a mistake that Eric put it in there when it was put in there, but at the time, there wasn't no flooding back there, and anyway.
It had been. It flooded in there for years.
Okay, I'm talking now, though. Hang on. Wait a minute. No.
You made an erroneous comment. That's the reason I commented.
But I'm talking. And, we are going to make efforts. The board's right here, and they can speak up if they want to. And we're going to do something. We don't know exactly what right yet. It's been brought up 2 or 3 times what to do. right? Well, we're talking to the board here. I mean, I know it's personal, but I mean, it's the board that makes the decision.
Well, the board makes decisions, and I've been out here for years now and heard things talked about. Most of it was junk that wouldn't work and it wasn't good. And I've heard that, but you still got contamination out there and everything. You can't fill it in. If you'd filled it in to start with, the thing wouldn't have been under the floodplain.
Well, to start with, the people that designed that back there are no longer here. And we're not going to blame it on them. Because they had an idea and they thought it would work, and it hasn't worked, but they're not here any longer. And I don't think it's right to blame them for something that they didn't know was going to happen. They're dead and gone. They can't do nothing about it. So.
Well, that goes into another subject.
But what we have talked about and discussed since I've been here for the last 4 years, starting on my 5th year, moving what we can up here behind the fire hall, getting that graded down and put the picnic area, pavilion, or whatever we can afford to build or put out here so people can have entertainment here behind the fire hall where it's never flooded, and everybody can, the whole city will have the privilege of going out there and doing whatever as long as it's legal. And the walking trail, that was brought up back when Philip was mayor, and I don't know what they're called, but they said that we couldn't do nothing out there because there was barking tree frogs out there, and we could not do anything to that. We better not touch it. Am I right?
I don't think they're endangered anymore.
Well, nobody goes.
I think they're recovering.
Come out there. I was on the board when it was doing that. We were talking to them, and that's the reason Philip brought it up and the rest of us, because that was dying down. They had been found somewhere else, and the paperwork just hadn't come out on it yet. So there was no problem with that.
Well, that was never brought to the officials of the city, or at least not when I was here.
Well, it looks to me like it would be y'all's job to find that out.
We did. They told us that we could not do anything back there because of the barking tree frogs back there. And if the law had changed, then it was that company's, the state's responsibility to let us know that it had changed because they had the paperwork where we wanted to put a walking trail back there.
I'll say something about that.
Here's the deal. I'm going to let you have your say, George, and we're going to move on, because here's the deal. We are going to do something. We've discussed that. Wait a minute. Just please. We are going to do something. We know that's a failure. I'll be the first one on it, but Eric's going to put the paper. It's a failure. I'll agree. Gary, I'll agree. We need to do something. We're going to do something. We're going to fix this up here behind the fire hall. We'll just have to abandon that, basically. That insurance stuff done been canceled on that out there because it's non-usable. That's the truth. It's non-usable. We are going to do something up here. Am I correct or not? Wait a minute. We're going to fix it. You're just keeping on beating me up personally. It ain't going to happen. We're going to fix it, and we're going to try to do something for this. It's that simple. Now go ahead.
Jerry said it was never any good. It was good. We had 2 festivals here one year.
We had 6.
Yeah.
We had over 20,000 people come here for the festival.
Yeah. When we first started, yeah.
And it's nothing but a swamp out there now. When Marilyn Hagan and I managed the festival, we did that. And when we put that in place, we get the city, not Mark, $5,000 clear money. Now that was some good, Jerry. Don't say the park wasn't any good.
It was good. No, everything was good about it.
But it's no good now.
It's no good. It's that simple.
It smells like a septic thing.
Well,
why has it sat there all these years and nothing was ever done? Like I said, I've been out here to everything.
Gary, wait a minute. Gary, you don't talk to Gary.
Hey,
you're not going to be hollering in that.
You put that down there,
This is out of hand.
Sit down. Don't start that. Put yours back.
Move on to the next item.
Well, when do you get this over here first?
Never go sell it.
John?
You know what that comes out to?
John will take care of that.
Well, isn't that?
Hey, move on.
We're moving on to the next thing. We're moving on to the next thing.
No, I'm
through with this.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
I've heard all these comments about it. You talked about it, and nothing's ever happened.
We're moving on to the next.
Oh, you can't talk about it, huh?
We talked about it, Gary.
You've talked about it, and these plans have been made. All I'm saying, and it's, you know, we'll make plans and say something, and we'll kick it on down the road as far as we can until somebody says something.
I'll tell you what, drive out again, you see some results. Now, we're through the conversation now. Okay.
No,
Okay.
there ain't nothing gonna happen.
We're moving on.
Pass it on.
We're moving on. Everybody understand? All right. Everybody don't have another business, we'll move on to old business. And old business will be at hand, will be the rezoning of the property down at the River Bridge.
Let me ask the question right there. Is it y'all that decide?
Yeah, hang on a minute, Mike, I've not got there. We got a process I got to go through. So we're gonna move on to that business. We're gonna close the city meeting and open up to a public hearing. If anybody's got any questions, then we'll reconvene in the meeting here. So we'll close the city meeting at this time.
Make a motion, we close the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
City meeting closed, open for discussion on this property down here. Now, Mike.
I heard there's gonna move projects in down there. Is what I heard. And I, for one, you know, is it y'all 3 or 4 sitting there that decide what goes on in the city of New Hope?
Board.
Family, all family.
You know, I think it ought to be the people of New Hope decide, not you 3 or 4.
We'll run for election next time. You can get on the board.
Hey, Tojo's Leo, ain't he?
I don't think so. But
You don't have to be here.
he's disabled right now.
Here, I'm opening it up. Anybody want to be heard on this? I mean, any.
Yeah,
I, for one, am against it.
Just a minute, okay, Gary? Let me get mine. Mike,
I, for one, am against it. This is a country place. We got traffic, 18 wheelers. This road, you know, y'all got lodge, a pallet factory, a dollar store, the meat market, and now you want projects in over
it's
here.
not projects. I don't know where you got that information. It's not projects.
That's what I heard.
Well, I'm sorry, you heard everything.
Well, it's supposed to be duplex, 80 something, I don't know.
Ain't duplexes. I don't know where you get your information. It's not duplexes the
That's what
project.
I heard, Mark.
Well, I'm
That's all I'm saying.
saying.
I hear all kinds of things.
We know we can hear stuff.
Hang on. All right. Anybody else be heard? Gary, you asked?
I did, and seems like there's some question about what's gonna go in down there, or this, or whatever zoning it is. I can't remember now, I've been through it. I saw it first come out. I know it was what, Fox had bid a guy to go up there, and he come out here and give you, he said, go do, and you said, yes, boss. And it's been going on ever since I've been in the office trying to get it going. But what it amounts to, I know everybody else on the board's heard it. I don't think Mark has heard anything facts about it or anything. I don't know whether you've read over it and know exactly what it requires to be built down there or allows to be built down there. I don't know whether you've looked at that or not. But what it is, it's what he proposed for. I don't know. That's about it. It's houses or buildings, wall to wall, and what it amounts to, and I guess where the where your ideas come from or something, it's usually what that develops. If you've done the research on it and everything, you got some up there in Chattanooga, had some down there in Alton Park at one time, and other places. And what it is, what you've got there, these houses, it's usually the low income that comes in to buy them, and they have no interest in maintaining or developing the property or making it look better or anything. That's what they're looking for. And so it sits there until they can't make the payments on it. I don't know whether they're going to rent them or sell them or what. But if they can't make the payments, can't make the rents, they get out. It's dilapidated. Somebody has to fix it to do that. The best ones you usually get developments like that is possibly newlyweds that need somewhere to live. I don't know whether that would ever fly in this part of the country or not. It's big enough metropolis, it does. And they're there for a short time till they can get a bigger one, till they can get a bigger house. And that is not a long-term keep for them. So they're not going to do a whole lot of maintenance on it or upkeep.
It's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time. You're right. After a while, it's a slum, and it's probably, and the thing about it is, it's exactly what New Hope was incorporated for.
You're
when
correct.
Your daddy was here, and
You're
everything was to keep that out because South Fitchburg were wanting back that same area down there.
This
was one of them they were looking at to build housing projects over here because they didn't have nowhere to go and they wanted somewhere to put them. And the thing about it, though, after you've got it and all this happens, the property around it, not just taking it, the property around it, you know, value goes with it. And if somebody else wants to develop something and sell something or whatever, their value is down. It may not go down on the tax roll, you know, they got to have the money. But when you ask somebody what they'll give you for it, the value is down on it. This is not my table. Anybody wants to, this stuff is on the internet. You can talk to realtors that have dealt with it if you want to. I'm not saying take my word for it and do it. I'm saying the information is out there. If you can't find it on the internet, I can find that reference and give it to you where it is. And this is stuff before, and this has come up, that I went back and looked through to see if it's going to be good for you, or it's going to be good for the developer. That's usually the way it goes. Well, it's always the way it goes. The developer gets the money, and whoever with it, they've got the money and run with it. The city's left with it, and all the mess that goes with it.
Can I ask you one thing? You're talking about Chattanooga. Can you tell me any area up there that's on the river that's turned out like that?
Wait a minute, Mike. You don't care, this is a public discussion just on that alone, so y'all want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
He can give his comments.
Okay, I'll go.
So, I think Gary
No, I will comment if that's not a first, like you're just asking.
Right, yeah, because there's a river accident, so that changes the whole dynamic.
No, they never built anything like that.
Everything at first,
because it's not, you know, financial is the thing to do. Not financial is the thing to do. If they got something on the river, we want something that people.
Yeah, I mean, it always is a success if it's a mill on the river.
Does anybody else be heard?
I have several questions, okay?
Really, this is
Well, this is about that.
question. It's a place for the public to be heard. It's like,
Okay.
just let them hear you.
Well, I want to clarify something first, okay? The ordinance presented last month, passed on the first reading, referenced the R3 RTZ ordinance, correct? Okay, I have in my hands the one that was passed in 01, ordinance 5801, the R3 RTZ ordinance. Now, is that what we're referencing?
I'm not sure what.
Okay. Okay.
We're the RTZs. They're what's before the board.
Okay, well,
2001.
2001 is when the R3TZ was voted in here in New Hope. Okay?
I wasn't here then.
And
Okay, but still, doesn't matter. It's still a matter of record.
they're wrong, but let's
Okay,
hear.
well, wait a minute. Let me find the paper before I start asking more questions. Okay. Or bring out a point. The point I want to make is, last month, when it was brought before the board, 2 plats were presented. I have copies of them. I asked to have them. Okay? Now, the one from back in 01, section 6 of it says, provision, section 5, subsection 12. It says, a site sketch plan shall be submitted with the rezoning application and shall show the following: site access and preliminary street layout, type off-street parking, preliminary lot design, range of lot sizes, number of lots, acreage, open space recreation areas if provided, all buffer landscape screen areas, including site-specific landscape design. Now, my question is, that wasn't in anything that I picked up off the table with the packet that was brought before the city last month. So was this actually included in the packet in the planning commission? Because that's what it says has to be brought and provided by in order for this to be passed. So my question is, was all that provided, or will all that be provided before the second reading? Because it kind of sounds like it's supposed to be provided before it's voted on.
Any other statements?
No, that's...
Okay. Respectfully, and anybody else, then I'll answer this question. Okay, let's go ahead and close the public meeting. Somebody else be heard.
Second motion to close public meeting. Make a motion. Second. All fair say aye. Now we will resume.
And I'll address that. Sorry, Mayor, you're right. Respectfully, you're so far off base on your question that all I can say, there were no plats submitted at the last meeting.
Okay, two pictures.
There were no plats to be submitted.
Two pictures.
Related to the rezoning.
Okay.
That's the answer to the question. Please proceed, Mayor.
Okay, then move on to the public hearing closed. Moving on to old business. Well, we wouldn't pass it on, we're on business.
Okay, so we reopen. So what it would be, you reopen the public meeting.
Yes.
So what it, let me ask you this quick question.
What is this?
Okay.
Why is this?
Wait a minute, I'll tell you what it's saying. I'm recusing myself like it, I know every time it's a
Okay, I
question.
just had
It's a
a
question.
question,
Yeah.
I've seen it
So-
3 times.
So
Well, we can do that.
let's move on,
You can.
please.
Why, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I thought it was everybody.
Well, it's a question to me.
Yeah. I'm just reminding.
Anyway, once again, we're moving on.
Yeah. So, the mayor, I think, announced at the last meeting, he's recusing himself from this situation. During the public hearing, scratch that. He's recusing himself for any part of the deliberation and the decision on this. So the next move would be for him, he is still conducting the city meeting, so the mayor would ask, is there a motion to pass this ordinance on second reading?
I'd like to vote to pass this ordinance.
Now, here's a second. Second. All in favor, saying aye. Aye. Motion carried. New business. Any new business, please?
What's that called? If that's not a plat, what is that called?
That just describes the
No
property.
new business. I get a motion or something? No.
Well-
Adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?